Welcome to the 999 Family Safety video. This video contains vital information to help keep you and your family safe. And we hope it'll give you the confidence to know what to do.
How well prepared would you feel if you were faced with an emergency involving either yourself or a member of your family? And how much thought do you put into the safety of your home, of your car, and planning your outdoor activities and your holidays? We've put together this video to show you what to do in an emergency and how to prevent accidents happening in the first place.
We hope it'll be an invaluable reference guide and will complement our first 999 Lifesaver video, which includes the ABC of resuscitation, the most crucial knowledge you can have to save a life. Remember, thousands of lives are saved every year as a result of someone knowing what to do in an emergency and having the confidence to help.
This video includes 31 information films, and to make it easier to use, we've numbered each of them. The numbers appear in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, so that when you fast forward, you can quickly reach the film that you want to see.
To help find your way around the video, you can use the index coming up next or the index card in the video pack.
Your home should be the safest place in the world, but statistically it's one of the most dangerous places to be. It's where an astonishing 40% of all fatal accidents happen. Now, there are two fundamental pieces of safety equipment that no home should be without. A first aid kit, obviously, and a smoke alarm. And don't forget to check the battery every month. In our first two films, we'll show you what to look out for to make your home as safe as possible, and how to improvise with what's at hand for those unavoidable everyday accidents. We begin with this advice from the Royal Society for the Prevention of Accidents.
To children, anything and everything in the house can seem like a new toy. They're inquisitive, and this makes them vulnerable to accidents in the home.
There are more home accidents to children under 5 than any other age group, and this is largely because the under 5s just don't know what dangers lie ahead of them. We must look out for them and be aware of the dangers on their behalf.
Children love brightly coloured objects and can be drawn to interesting containers. Everyday substances like toilet cleaner, essential oils and even mouthwash present a big hazard. The bathroom is where many people keep their medicines.
We prefer medicines to be stored in the kitchen, where there's more likely to be someone around to know what the children are up to. In the bathroom, it's all too easy for them to be up there alone and parents and carers not to know what's going on.
Every year, almost 10,000 children are rushed to hospital after being poisoned by swallowing household chemicals or medicine. Most young children enjoy bath time, but left unsupervised could drown in seconds.
If a child falls in the bath and can't get up, it takes only about 3 centimetres of water for a little child to drown.
Most injuries sustained in our homes are caused by falls. Toddlers love climbing, but until a child can safely go up and down the stairs on their own, make sure you fit a stair gate at the top and bottom of a well-lit stairway. Some of the more serious falls are from windows or balconies.
Up to 2,000 children go to A&E departments every year from falling, and 1 or 2 are killed as well as a result of falling from a very high level.
You should fit child-resistant locks and avoid putting furniture under a window to reduce the temptation for children to explore. The kitchen is the most dangerous room in any home. It's a good idea to fit child locks on low-level drawers and cupboards, and to keep any sharp objects such as knives well out of reach. If you are cooking, always make sure children are kept well away and that they can't reach anything that could burn them. Unless children have experienced a burn or have been hurt by something, it's hard for them to understand the potential dangers. Keep saucepans on the back ring with the handle turned in. Be wary of hot oven doors. A hot iron can look like an interesting toy, but left out could easily fall or be pulled down.
You may be surprised to hear that a cup of tea, 15 minutes after it's been poured out, is still hot enough to scald a small child's skin.
Playing with matches and cigarette lighters is a common cause of burns and can quickly lead to fire. 2 children die in house fires each week. Put guards in front of fires and keep matches locked away. Taking a fresh look at your home through the eyes of a child could prevent an accident.
Water is the most useful first aid treatment around the home. With over 22,000 household burns every year, it's the fastest way to limit damage to the skin. Remove clothes unless they're melted on and bathe the burns in cold running water for 5 to 10 minutes. Any longer may cause hypothermia, so don't overdo it. You can use cling film to wrap around arms and legs to keep burns clean and reduce pain, but you must cool the burn properly first. Clean water does the same job as antiseptic. Use it to gently wash small cuts and grazes. More than 150 people cut themselves every hour. If you trip downstairs and sprain your ankle or bruise yourself, you can use ice or frozen food to reduce the pain and swelling of the injury, but make sure they're wrapped in a tea towel first to prevent cold burns. Every day, more than 45,000 people are injured from falling over, and every year more than 1,000 knock teeth out. If you lose a tooth, always hold it by the tip so you don't damage the root. Rinse off any dirt, put it straight into a glass of milk, and get to the dentist. More than 3,000 people cut off parts of fingers and toes every year, and the most common cause is from trapping them in windows and doors. It may sound gruesome, but to increase the chances of having them sewn back on, you need to wrap in a clean hanky, put inside a plastic bag, and then place in a bowl of iced water. Remember, whatever the injury, thinking quickly and making good first aid use of everyday things around your home could significantly help someone's recovery.
It's a lot of information to take in one go, but this video is a reference tool so you can sit down with your family on a regular basis and refresh your memory, or rewind and repeat sections until you feel confident you know what to do. Throughout the video, there are a number of shorter information bursts with easy-to-remember advice from young people, like this one on what to do if someone is bleeding.
If someone is bleeding heavily, dial 999 straight away. Then lie them down on the ground in a safe place. Get a dressing like this, or a clean piece of material, and press down firmly on the wound. If you can, lift the part that's injured higher than the chest. Then you need to bandage it up. Like this, but not too tight because you could cut off the blood supply.
Most of us are involved in some kind of food preparation on a daily basis. It may seem like a simple thing, but in fact it's a big responsibility. 95,000 cases of food poisoning are reported every year, and severe cases can be life-threatening in small children and the elderly. About 30% of chicken we buy is infected with salmonella, but the good news is that all food can be made safe to eat by thorough cooking and careful handling and storing. The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Food and the Department of Health helped us put together top 10 tips for our Christmas programme to help keep you and your family eating well and staying well.
When shopping, check storage advice labels and always read use-by dates. At Christmas, you may be shopping for a week, so make sure the food will last that long. Pack raw meat separately because it can contaminate any other food it touches. And get your shopping home quickly so that you can keep your chilled and frozen foods cold. Fridges fill up at Christmas, so plan how to store everything. Keep raw meat in sealed containers at the bottom of your fridge, where it won't touch or drip onto cooked and other ready-to-eat foods. Fridges must be between 0 to 5 degrees centigrade and freezers below -18. You should always keep pets off worktops and away from food and dishes used by humans, because animals can be a source of worms and harmful bacteria. Be sure to wash your hands after feeding pets and always wash them thoroughly in hot soapy water before preparing food. Just as important, always wash your hands after touching raw foods or after touching dustbins or soiled dishcloths. You should always use separate boards and knives for meat to prevent cross-contamination to food like salad that won't be cooked. Colour-coded boards and knives can help you remember which is which. You can buy antibacterial chopping boards. These may help, but they're no substitute for good hygiene, so don't be lulled into a false sense of security. After preparing raw food, wash utensils in hot soapy water and disinfect worktops to avoid contaminating other food. When cleaning, pay particular attention to taps and handles where bacteria may lurk. And either boil kitchen cloths frequently or use paper towels. Raw eggs still carry a risk of salmonella, and young children, pregnant women, the elderly and the sick are particularly vulnerable. Always store eggs in the fridge. Even in a cool kitchen, salmonella bacteria could multiply. Cook eggs until the yolk is firm and use pasteurized egg when making royal icing, mousses or homemade mayonnaise. If you're cooking a larger joint than usual, check recommended cooking times. With poultry, pierce the thickest part of the drumstick and look for clear juices, a sign that it's cooked properly. If you're worried, use a meat thermometer. The temperature in the middle must be over 70 degrees centigrade. Cook stuffing separately. Inside the bird, it can prevent heat circulating and so hinder the cooking of the meat. Leftovers should be left at room temperature for no more than 2 hours because bacteria will multiply quickly. When leftovers are cool, wrap them, and unless you're freezing them, put them in the fridge and eat them within 2 days. When reheating any food, make sure that steam rises from it and that it's hot throughout. Finally, if you eat out, watch out. With buffet food or carveries, ask how long the food has been on display. More than 2 hours is too long for hot food unless it's piping hot.
Food poisoning can be difficult to diagnose. The symptoms are often very similar to a tummy bug at first, but if you're concerned, it's always best to contact your GP.
My children are grown up now, but if you're a parent like me, you'll know what it's like to need a night out when the children are young. They rely on you, though, to provide them with a safe environment even when you're not there. It's important when you're getting a babysitter not to be afraid to ask questions about age, experience and first aid training. The British Red Cross runs special babysitter courses and offers this advice.
There's no legal minimum age for babysitters, but people under 16 can't be charged with neglect or ill treatment of a child in their care. As a parent, you're still responsible and can be charged if any harm comes to them. It's important you're satisfied the babysitter you choose is responsible and mature enough to cope in an emergency. Follow your instincts, and if you have any doubts, don't take them on. Listen to your children too. If they seem unhappy with the person looking after them, try to find somebody else. On their first visit, take the time to show your babysitter around the house. Make sure they know where you keep the first aid box and how they can get out if there's a fire. If your child has an allergy or needs special medication for problems like asthma, make sure you tell the babysitter so they know what to do. It's worth looking for someone with first aid training, and more agencies are now taking on people with this kind of experience. The British Red Cross offer courses specially for babysitters aged 14 and over. Always leave your phone number as well as contacts for people you trust, like a neighbour, relative and your doctor. And don't be tempted to leave a sick child with a babysitter. It could be distressing for both of them. Remind your babysitter they should never leave your child alone in the house, asleep or awake. Children under 4 are twice as likely to have an accident as older children. So even allowing a young child to be supervised in the bath by a brother or sister could end in tragedy. The latest figures show that 90% of children who died by drowning at home were under 5. Always agree before you go out what you're going to pay your babysitter and what time you'll be home. If you're going to be late, phone and make sure that's all right. Remember, it's your responsibility to ensure the babysitter gets home safely. So if you've been drinking, don't drive. Order them a taxi.
Children play, it's a fact of life, and keeping a constant eye on them is hard work. But testing and exploring the world around them is a vital part of growing up. The Child Accident Prevention Trust has helped us put together this advice to help you make their environment at home or in the garden as safe as you can.
The first way babies start to experiment with the world around them is by putting anything and everything into their mouths. Over 2,500 children go to hospital every year because they choke on small objects. To prevent them from choking, you could buy a special size checker for toys or make sure whatever they play with is wider than a 2p piece. Toddlers on the move want to explore. They have the highest rate of accidents from trips and tumblings. At least 4 children die every year falling downstairs. They should be kept free of clutter, with stair gates at the top and bottom. If banisters are wide enough for youngsters to squeeze through, you need to block them or board them up. Children under 4 should never be left alone with water. They can easily slip under the surface and they won't know how to get up again. 1 child drowns every week in this country, some in just a few inches of water. It's important to try and prevent drowning accidents outside too. So if you've got a garden pond, the best thing to do is to drain it, fill it in or fence it off. Dried earth under swings and climbing frames can be as hard as concrete, so put something underneath for a soft landing. You may have made your garden safe, but there could be hazards just next door. Close up gaps in fences and hedges and make sure gates are kept shut. Traffic is one of the biggest dangers for the over 5s. They won't be able to properly judge the speed or distance of cars until they're 11 or 12. Older children explore further afield, so you need to know where they're going.
And agree a time to come back.
They'll be more at risk from adventure accidents and need to understand why places like building sites, railway lines and quarries are dangerous places to play. Finally, it's important they understand the significance of different warning signs. Their life could depend on it.
As your children get older, they'll start to get involved in sports and hobbies that are a bit risky. You know, the sort of thing, mountain biking, skateboarding, horse riding. Now, it may cost more to get them properly kitted out, but having the right protective clothing can save a life.
When you buy a helmet, make sure it fits properly. If it isn't the right size, it won't protect you in an accident, and it could impair your vision and hearing. Always replace your helmet after any impact, as it'll be weakened. Even with normal wear and tear, ROSPA recommend they're replaced every few years. And never buy a second-hand helmet, because you won't know its history. The most popular kinds of cycle helmets are the thin-shelled type, which are light to wear and have good ventilation. Make sure yours has been tested properly by checking it carries a recognised safety mark. The British Horse Society recommends that hats made to this safety standard are the best ones available. These will give you better protection than older types, as they cover much more of your head. Skateboarders and rollerbladers can easily reach speeds of 45 miles an hour, so head protection's essential. 75% of injuries to skaters are to the upper limbs, particularly to the wrists, so it's a good idea to wear specially strengthened wrist guards. You should also wear knee and elbow pads. It's important to remember that good leg protection is vital, even for some garden tasks. In 1994, over 1,000 people had accidents using chainsaws, so make sure you wear gloves and trousers made with special panels of loosely woven synthetic fibres designed to stop the chain on contact. If you're out on the water, you must wear a life jacket or buoyancy aid, which is suitable for your activity. Some inflate automatically as you hit the water and are fitted with a light and whistle to attract attention. Life jackets are designed to turn you face up in the water in most circumstances, even if you're unconscious. But buoyancy aids will only help to keep you afloat. In 1994, more than 170,000 people suffered eye injuries. Eye protection comes in all shapes and forms, from safety specs and goggles for cutting and drilling, to face shields for welding and grinding, to sunglasses, the most basic protection for you and your family.
One of the busiest nights of the year for the fire service is bonfire night, and your back garden is the most dangerous place to be. There are many more accidents, eye injuries and severe burns at private events than public displays. And although they may seem relatively harmless, nearly a fifth are caused by sparklers. The Department of Trade and Industry has helped us put together the following advice on fireworks safety. It's followed by a Young Lifesavers information burst on burns and scalds.
Always buy fireworks with the British Standard mark on them, and keep all fireworks, including sparklers, in a closed box stored in a cool, dry place. Larger rockets should be kept in a garden shed or a metal dustbin with the lid on and brought out one at a time for the display. It's safer to prepare your display in daylight. At night you'll need a torch to see what you're doing. Never use a naked flame. And never carry fireworks in your pocket. A stray spark could set them off, and once alight they're almost impossible to put out. Read the instructions carefully as you set up your display and again before letting them off. A minimum safe area of 5 metres is needed, but boxes marked display fireworks contain fireworks that must be let off 25 metres away from the audience. Most gardens aren't big enough. One adult should be in charge, and they should resist the temptation to drink alcohol before the display. It's much safer to wait until the display is over. Remember, animals are frightened by fireworks, so keep pets inside. As with all fireworks, only light sparklers outside. Wear gloves and use a long taper to light them one at a time. 3 sparklers held together generate as much heat as a blowtorch. Hold sparklers at arm's length to keep them away from clothing and from other people. Make sure there's an adult to supervise children over 5, and never give sparklers to children under 5. Many injuries are caused by grabbing the hot end of the sparkler when it's burnt out, so be careful and place used sparklers in a bucket of cold water. If any fireworks fail to go off, don't go back to them. It's not worth the risk. Instead, leave them for at least 15 minutes, then douse them and put them in a bucket of cold water overnight. Most firework accidents happen at home in people's gardens, but if you follow these basic rules, you should have a safe bonfire night.
If you or someone you know gets burned or scalded, cool the burn with lots of cold water for at least 10 minutes.
Cold milk or soft drinks work just as well.
If you have to cool a big area,
Cover it with a soap towel.
then put something clean and non-fluffy over it, like cling film, to protect it. If the burn is bigger than an inch square,
Or it doesn't hurt, it's serious. Call 999.
for more help.
If you were to find yourself on fire, there's a simple slogan that could save your life. Stop what you're doing. Drop to the ground. Wrap yourself in a coat or a blanket and roll on the ground over and over to put the flames out. Because fire's so frightening, being prepared in advance is crucial. In even the most life-threatening situation, following a plan will help you keep calm. In our first video, there's advice on how to create your own home escape plan, but it's equally important when you're away from home and not in familiar surroundings. The Fire Protection Association has this advice on preparing a hotel fire escape plan.
After you've checked in at your hotel, you need to familiarise yourself with its layout. A few minutes spent doing this could save your life in the event of a fire. Read the fire notice in your room, which can usually be found behind the door, and locate the nearest fire escapes. Go all the way down them to see where they lead and that they open. There have been cases where fire exits have been locked. Then retrace your steps and count the number of doors between the exit and your room. If there's a fire in the building, you need to act quickly and calmly. Always remember to take your room key, as you may have to return there if all the exits are blocked. If you hear an alarm, don't run straight out into the corridor. Feel the door and handle with the back of your hand. Don't open the door if they feel hot. The fire may be on the other side. If they feel cool, open the door slightly and look into the corridor. Be prepared to slam it shut if you see flames or thick smoke. If everything in the hall is clear, close the door and go to the nearest exit. If you encounter smoke, crawl. The air will be fresher near the ground because smoke rises. In a fire, most people die from inhaling smoke and poisonous gases. Count the doorways as you go. This will stop you getting lost if you have to turn back. If you can't reach that exit, go to the alternative one. And remember, never be tempted to use the lift. If all your exits are blocked, it's safer to go back to your room and telephone for help. To stop smoke filling the room, use wet sheets and towels to seal the cracks around the door. Turn off the air conditioning to stop it being drawn into the room. Then move over to the window and try to attract the attention of rescuers. In many modern hotels, the windows are double glazed and won't open. But if you can open them, it's only safe to try escaping from a room on the ground or first floor. Even then, you should throw out bedding to cushion the fall and lower yourself out at arm's length. Never be tempted to jump from the second floor or above. You've got more chance of surviving if you wait to be rescued. Hotel fires don't have to end in tragedy. If you plan how you could escape, you're more likely to react correctly and increase your chance of survival.
If you have a disability, then it's important to make sure when you book a hotel that the hotel has an evacuation procedure that meets your specific needs. For example, if you're in a wheelchair, does the hotel have a fire-protected lift or an evacuation chair? Or if you've got hearing problems, does the hotel have flashing beacons linked to the alarm system? And try to make sure that the hotel staff are trained to help in the event of an emergency.
When you're planning a trip of any kind, whether it's at home or abroad, you must take the right clothes and equipment with you. Even in the summer, you could get hypothermia simply by being unprepared for sudden changes in conditions. It's also a good idea to let someone know where you're going and when you expect to be back. Whether you're planning a major expedition or just a leisurely day out, the British Mountaineering Council has this advice. It's followed by information on how to improvise if you do have an accident.
Always check local weather forecasts before setting off, and remember that temperatures drop by 2 degrees Celsius with every 1,000 feet you climb, so relatively warm valleys can lead to cold or freezing summits. Clothing should protect you from wind, rain and cold. Several thin layers trap more air and are warmer than one thick layer. And you should always carry a hat. You can lose 30% of your body heat through your head. Adjust clothing if you're hot or cold, as sweating or shivering loses valuable energy, which can lead to hypothermia. Good footwear is essential. Boots should have a good grip and firm ankle support. Most accidents on the hills are caused by people slipping and twisting knees or ankles. Eating and drinking little and often is the best way to boost lost energy. Take plenty to drink and carry food rich in carbohydrates such as sandwiches, chocolate and soup. But don't be tempted to drink from streams and lakes. The water may not be as clean as it looks. If the weather closes in or there are no visible landmarks, it can be very disorientating, making map reading difficult. You should always carry a compass, and you can get help from nature. Moss tends to grow on the north side of trees and rocks, while the longest, thickest branches are generally found on the south side of trees. Check your position regularly using the map and landmarks. If you do get lost, decide where on the map you last knew your position and try to retrace your steps or work out a safe way down. Don't rely on following streams downhill. A stream frequently becomes a waterfall and could lead you over a sheer drop. Accidents can happen, so always carry a first aid kit. If an injured person can't continue, stay with them and if possible, send others for help. If there are only 2 or 3 of you, it's safer to stay put and try to attract attention. The international distress signal is 6 blasts on a whistle or 6 flashes of a torch, followed by a minute's silence. The answer to a distress call is 3 blasts or flashes. If you have to spend a night outside, seek shelter behind rocks or in dips. Put on all your spare clothing and sit on something to provide insulation from the cold ground. Get inside a bivouac bag, huddling together to share body heat, and eat small amounts of food throughout the night. Emergencies can't always be avoided, but being properly prepared can make all the difference. So remember, check the local weather forecast and be prepared for any changes. Dress appropriately and pack survival equipment including food and drink, a first aid kit, map and compass, whistle, torch and large polythene bag. If someone is hurt, try to attract attention and stay with them. If you have to stay out overnight, seek shelter and protect yourself from the cold. Eat and drink small amounts regularly to maintain energy levels. The most common walking injuries are to the leg and foot. At least half of these happen from just slipping over. You can try and avoid this by wearing the right footwear. But if someone with you has an accident, improvise with whatever you've got to hand. It may mean you won't need to raise the alarm, but use your common sense. If you're in any doubt about a casualty's condition, always send someone to get help. You won't be able to tell the difference between a sprain or a fracture, so always assume the worst and treat the injury as a break. You can improvise a sling for an injured arm by using spare clothing to tie their arm to their chest around their neck, or by simply undoing their jacket and sliding their arm inside. It's important to keep an injured ankle or leg as still as possible. Use their other leg as a splint by putting padding in between the legs and then tying them together around the knees and ankles, avoiding the actual fracture. Alternatively, use a foam sleeping mat. Cut a section off and roll it up tightly. Either place it alongside the leg or wrap it around using clothing to secure it. To help them to safety, you could make a stretcher by using tent poles, a walking stick or even tree branches and some spare clothing. A couple of jackets are ideal. Do them up and push the arms inside, then put the poles through the arms. Always test it to make sure it's strong enough. If a child's been injured, it's easy to convert a rucksack to make a carrier by cutting 2 leg holes out of the bottom. If you suspect someone has a neck, back or head injury, never attempt to move them. Always send someone to get help and then make sure you keep their head still. You can fill a pair of walking boots with soil, and if you place them either side of the head, this will support it. Or if you've got a sleeping mat, you can use it to make a neck collar. Carefully measure from the top of the jaw to the bottom of the collarbone, and this will give you the right width to cut out of the mat. While you're waiting for the professionals to arrive, keep yourself and the casualty warm and try to attract attention with bright clothing or a survival bag spread on the ground. You can use a whistle or torch to do the international distress signal, which is 6 blasts or flashes in quick succession, then a minute's pause before repeating the cycle. So in an emergency, there's a lot you can do to help a casualty by improvising. Remember, support an injured arm with a sling. Use a sleeping mat as a splint. Adapt a rucksack to carry an injured child. And use poles and clothing to make a stretcher.
Many families enjoy holidays on or near water, sailing on a canal boat, on a beach for example. But the water can be a dangerous place. 1 child drowns every week in the UK. But most of these accidents could be prevented by sticking to some simple rules. In the first of 3 information films, British Waterways says this advice for river and canal holidays.
Make sure that children and non-swimmers wear properly fastened life jackets. If you're on holiday, you may think this all sounds a bit overdramatic, but more children drown in rivers and streams than in the sea. And most of these children were unsupervised. It's not a safe place for children to play alone. Reduce the chance of someone falling overboard by wearing rubber-soled, non-slip shoes. Take a torch with you. Remember, there's no street lighting on the towpaths. You could easily trip over ropes or the edge. If someone should fall overboard, don't jump in to save them. Put the engine into neutral to stop the propeller and throw a lifeline. If they fall into a lock, then close the paddles as quickly as possible. No swimming is allowed in canals. There's always the danger of being hit by a passing boat, swept over a weir, or drawn into a paddle by a lock. The water may look clean, but it's untreated and can cause infections. Know where you can find the safety equipment, including the fire extinguisher. Fires can quickly spread on board a boat. Remember, there are speed limits on inland waterways, just as there are on the roads. 4 miles an hour is usually the maximum speed. Sometimes even this can be too fast. Keep to the right when passing a boat coming from the opposite direction and slow down. If you overtake another moving boat, keep to the left. Never use your feet or hands to stop your boat from hitting the bank, lock wall, or another boat.
Don't take risks at sea. Make sure you know how to use your life jacket before you set out. It might be worth buying a light to attach to it to make you more visible if you get stranded at night. When walking on deck, remember the old adage, 1 hand for the ship and 1 for yourself, so always hold on tight. If you do feel yourself falling, shout out so that other people immediately know you're in danger and can turn the boat back to come and pick you up. If you're not wearing an automatic or permanently buoyant type, you'll need to inflate your life jacket fully as soon as you're on the surface. You'll find a toggle at the side which activates a gas cylinder, or there'll be a tube to blow into. Trust your life jacket to keep you afloat. You'll probably find that you naturally draw your knees up and hug them to your chest, and this is exactly what you should do. It's known as the help position and stands for heat escape lessening posture. This way you'll conserve your body heat by reducing your surface area. Surviving at sea depends on many factors, but a rough guide suggests you survive for about an hour in winter temperatures, longer if you adopt the help position. If the boat has capsized, it's important to get yourself clear of any ropes or sails, and make sure others do too. You could become caught or tangled up. Once you are clear, find a safe place to hold on to and stay with the boat. Don't swim for the shore, it's always further away than it looks. Remember, the boat will stay afloat even if you can't right it, and the best thing to do is to climb onto the hull if possible. Rescuers are much more likely to spot an upturned boat than a single head in the water. It's also easier to see a group of people, so if you can't get onto the hull, huddle together. And remember, you lose body heat 25 times more quickly in cold water. So stay as close together as you can and put children between you for extra protection. If you're not wearing a life jacket, you may need to remove heavy items like boots or shoes, but remember, keep your clothing on. The water already trapped inside will help to keep the heat in. You need to keep as still as possible to try and conserve your energy. Breathe slowly and float on your back, sculling with your hands if necessary. This requires less effort than treading water. After an emergency call, lifeboats launch in an average of 7 minutes and rescue helicopters in under 20, so keep calm and wait to be rescued. Remember, stay with a capsized boat. Try to keep warm using the help position.
Float on your back if you don't have a life jacket. And huddle together with others if you can't climb onto the hull.
When you're by the sea, watch your children at all times. Drowning is the third highest cause of accidental death for under 10s in Britain. Remember, children can drown even in very shallow water. Always obey any warning flags and notices, and try to swim where there are lifeguards on duty. You can tell a beach is patrolled if there are red and yellow flags flying. It's safer to swim between these flags, but don't use inflatable airbeds in the water, as you can easily get swept out to sea. Remember, never swim when the red flag is flying. Know your limits and never overestimate your swimming ability. Stay within your depth and swim parallel to the shore, not out to sea. Never swim alone, and always tell someone where you're going and what time you expect to get back. Don't swim if you feel unwell, when you're cold and tired, or after drinking alcohol. And wait for at least an hour after a meal, otherwise you may get cramp, which could make swimming difficult. If you want to cool off, beware of the water's temperature. Plunging into cold water when you're really hot can sap your energy, and the cold shock can even cause a heart attack. Never dive into the unknown. Anything could be under the water, sharp bits of rubbish, rocks and weeds. And if you dive into water that's too shallow, you could seriously injure yourself or even end up paralysed. Look out for rip currents, which can be a particular danger. They're usually indicated by calmer water between areas of surf, and they can carry you out to sea. Black and white checkered flags are used to mark the areas reserved for surfers and windsurfers. It's recommended that all surfers should be able to swim at least 50 metres in open water for their own safety. If you do get into difficulty, try to stay calm. Raise your arm to attract attention. Save your energy by floating on your back and going with the water, or swim diagonally across the current. If you're on a belly board, stay with it. It gives you added buoyancy and makes you easier to spot. If you see someone in trouble, raise the alarm. Tell the lifeguard or dial 999 and ask for the Coast Guard. They're on call 24 hours a day to coordinate search and rescue operations. Only go in the water to help someone if you're a trained lifesaver. Every year, around 10 people are drowned while attempting a rescue. So if you're in any doubt, stay out of the water.
One of the most common problems we're all aware of in the summer is the possibility of being stung by a bee or a wasp. But do you know how differently you should treat the two? St John Ambulance has advice on dealing with stings.
Bee and wasp stings are usually painful rather than life-threatening. If you are attacked by a swarm of bees, it's important to keep calm and overcome your instinct to wave your arms about or run away. Bees aim for your highest point, usually your face or head. So crouch down and protect your face with your arms. Bees respond aggressively to fast movement, so move slowly indoors or into undergrowth. Bees dislike shade. Don't kill any bees. They give off a hormone when harmed to signal danger, which makes it more likely others will attack. And never throw water over bees. This will only antagonize them. If wasps attack, the advice is very different. You should run away as fast as you can. Once you're out of their territory, the attack should stop. If you receive even a single sting, it's important to know whether it's from a wasp or a bee. A bee leaves its sting in the skin, whereas a wasp doesn't, so all you'll see is a swelling. You must remove a bee sting as quickly as possible, or it will continue pumping venom into the wound. Use tweezers to pull it out carefully, or scrape it away with the back of a knife or a fingernail below the poison sac. Always make sure you remove the whole sting to prevent infection. Wasp and bee stings cause painful swellings. Cool the affected area with an ice pack. Even a bag of frozen peas will do. You can also use an anesthetic spray to help relieve the pain. If you are stung in the mouth or throat, it can be dangerous as swelling can block your airway. You should call for an ambulance. Sucking ice or sipping cold water will help control the swelling until help arrives. If someone is suffering from multiple bee or wasp stings, they could go into shock or be poisoned. Sometimes even a single sting can cause a severe or even life-threatening allergic reaction called anaphylactic shock. Again, call for an ambulance. If they become unconscious, be prepared to carry out the ABC of resuscitation.
Helping somebody in an emergency, like somebody going into an anaphylactic shock, may simply involve just calling the emergency services. Children as young as 3 have been known to make successful 999 calls. This young Lifesaver's burst, reminding you how to dial 999, is followed by advice from the Hereford and Worcester Fire Brigade on how to call for help from a mobile phone.
In an emergency,
It's free to dial 999.
it's important to stay calm and speak clearly. Dial 999. Emergency, which service?
Tell the operator whether you want the police
Ambulance. Fire brigade.
or the Coast Guard.
Ambulance, please. Give them the number of the phone you're on in case you get cut off.
And when you get through,
You need to tell them
where you are.
what has happened, who's hurt, and how badly. And they may even ask for your home address and phone number. Don't put the phone down until you're told it's okay.
If you're in trouble yourself or you witness an accident, you can phone 999 for free. If it's safe to do so, pull over before making the call. Remember, if you use your mobile phone while driving, you can be prosecuted for driving without due care and attention. When your call is answered, listen carefully to the operator, who will ask you which service you require. While you're being connected, think of the clearest way to describe what has happened and where. It may be helpful to consult a map so that you can give precise details. If you're on the motorway, you will need to give its number and the carriageway on which the accident has happened. For example, M5 northbound, as well as the number of the nearest junctions and marker post. If your phone has a flat battery or is out of range, the marker post also points you in the direction of the nearest emergency phone. In rural areas, it can be particularly difficult for the emergency services to pinpoint the location of mobile phone users. Think of your planned journey and where you are travelling to and from. Try and give a landmark. Have you just passed a pub or a church? When you've given details of your location, you need to describe exactly what has happened. Who is hurt or ill? Give details of how many people are injured and some idea of their ages. How badly hurt are they? Describing the type of injuries can assist the paramedics. Don't hang up until the emergency services ask you to do so. They may need more information from you, or they may give you advice on how to help. People have been known to save lives following instructions over the phone. Keep your phone with you and leave it turned on. When you make a 999 call from a mobile, it's essential you give as much information as you can. So remember the following details. Where has it happened? Give exact details and look for landmarks. What has happened? Describe the type of incident. Who is hurt? Give the number of people and their ages. How badly hurt are they? Give an idea of their injuries.
The first thing to do when you come across an emergency is quickly to assess the situation without getting yourself in any danger. Do the ABC check, and with that information, dial 999. But some people have hidden medical conditions like diabetes and asthma, which could affect the treatment they should get in an emergency. So once you're sure that help's on its way, find out as much information as you can to give to the professionals when they arrive. The British Association for Immediate Care has this advice.
More than 20 million people in the UK have hidden conditions which may need special consideration in an emergency. These range from diabetes, allergies, epilepsy, heart problems, and even altered airways like laryngectomies. If you come across a casualty who's not fully conscious, you'll need to look for external clues to any hidden condition. But be careful about moving someone if you suspect they may have a neck or back injury. Warning discs will be at the pulse point, so check carefully around the wrists and neck. You'll quickly recognise the international symbols. If you find a disc from the Medic Alert charity, the person's condition will be engraved on the back. And if you find an SOS locket, you'll need to unscrew it as the details are inside on a strip of paper.
Remember, if you do find any kind of warning, don't remove it from the casualty. They could also be carrying a card, but only check around the outside of someone's clothing or take a quick look in their bag. The last thing you want to be worried about is people thinking you could be stealing from someone who's vulnerable. The best thing is to ensure you have a witness to your actions. You may find other clues to certain conditions, like an insulin pen for someone with diabetes. While waiting for the professionals to arrive, it's useful for you to make an assessment of the casualty's consciousness level. You can do this using something called the AVPU method. A. Check their alert. Do they answer you? V. Are they responding to your voice in any way? P. Do they respond to pain? Try pinching their earlobe. And U. If they're unconscious, they won't be responding at all. If you can, write down information about their responses and if and when they change. The timings could be crucial, so when the professionals arrive, tell them what you found and hand over any medication. If you suffer from a hidden allergy or illness, you may be able to get a special warning disc for free, although usually the cheapest will cost from around £10 to £30. Alternatively, many organisations set up to advise on medical conditions produce cards. Make sure you consult your doctor. Most cards or applications for warning discs require your GP's signature or stamp. You could even make your own. Keep it to the size of a credit card and include your name, condition, emergency number, your GP and any medication you're taking, along with any other special instructions if you're found ill. Put cards in an obvious place, otherwise they're unlikely to be found quickly enough to help you. Clear warnings about hidden conditions could save a life. So remember, always look for a warning disc or card. Use the AVPU method of assessment. Keep a record of the information you discover. Make sure your warning can be found easily if you have a condition yourself. Young children love putting small objects in their mouths, and there's always a potential risk they could choke on them. We've probably all experienced what it's like to have a piece of food go down the wrong way. But would you know what to do if somebody was in real trouble? St John Ambulance has given us this advice. But one word of warning, it's extremely dangerous to practice these procedures on a healthy person. Our actors have simulated the life-saving techniques for us.
Most choking incidents in adults happen when food goes down the wrong way. If this occurs, encourage the person to try and cough the obstruction out. Their head should be lower than their chest, so help them to bend over and give them 5 firm back slaps. If they still can't speak or breathe, their airway is probably completely blocked and they could die within minutes. You must keep calm, but act quickly and try abdominal thrusts. To do this, stand behind them and place a fist below the bottom of their breastbone and the other hand on top. Make a quick upward thrusting motion. Do 5 abdominal thrusts, followed by 5 back slaps until the blockage is cleared. If the person loses consciousness, call for an ambulance immediately, and if their airway is still blocked, continue the cycle of 5 back slaps and 5 abdominal thrusts with them lying on their back. If the blockage is ejected and the casualty starts to breathe normally, place them in the recovery position. If they're not breathing, begin the ABC of resuscitation. It's often children who are found choking, not only on food but also on small toys and other objects. For children aged between 1 and 7, put them across your lap and carry out 5 back slaps. If this fails, lay them on the floor to try chest thrusts. Using one hand, press down on the lower third of their breastbone and do 5 chest thrusts, leaving about 3 seconds between them. After this, check their mouth for the obstruction, and then, if needed, try 5 more back slaps. If this cycle doesn't work, you need to try 5 abdominal thrusts. But remember, these can damage young children. Only use one hand and about half the amount of pressure you would use on an adult. If a baby under 1 starts choking, lay them along your forearm and give them 5 back slaps. This may be all that's needed to dislodge the blockage. Check their mouth very carefully and remove any obvious obstructions with one finger. If there aren't any, then try up to 5 chest thrusts, using the tips of 2 fingers on the breastbone just below the line of the nipples. If the obstruction still isn't cleared, repeat the cycle of back slaps and chest thrusts. If your baby or child comes unconscious, it normally means they've stopped breathing. If this happens, you must dial 999 and begin breathing for them. And remember, never practice these techniques on a healthy person.
Our first Lifesaver video pack contains really detailed information on the ABC of resuscitation, the most important skill you can have for saving a life. But nothing can replace going on a first aid course, and we'll give you details about how to apply for a course at the end of the video. Responding correctly to an emergency can simply be a matter of staying calm, recognising the symptoms and calling for help. The following Young Lifesavers information will help anyone of any age know what to do in the event of a heart attack.
If someone is having a heart attack, they'll complain of chest pains which won't go away. These pains might spread to their arms, their jaw and their back.
They may look pale and sweaty, have cold, clammy skin,
And may also be short of breath.
dial 999 straight away.
And so you think it's a heart attack.
Sit them down so they're comfortable.
And undo any tight clothing. Finally, don't let them have anything to eat or drink.
Like heart attacks, strokes can be very frightening, both to experience and to witness, and usually come with no warning. 100,000 people suffer their first stroke every year. Recognising the severity of the symptoms is important so that you know what action to take. The Stroke Association has this advice. It's followed by another burst from the Young Lifesavers on the recovery position. Strokes are caused when the blood supply carrying oxygen to the brain is suddenly and seriously interrupted. In 85% of cases, this is due to a blood clot forming inside the brain or travelling there from another part of the body, such as the heart. This type of stroke is more common in people over 65, but in a few cases, and more often in younger people, strokes are caused when a blood vessel inside the brain begins to leak or hemorrhage. The impact of a stroke depends on how much and which part of the brain is damaged. If the area affected controls more vital functions like breathing and heartbeat, this can result in unconsciousness or even death. But in most cases, it's the cells in other parts of the brain which are starved of oxygen and quickly die. These control our ability to walk and talk, and this is why speech and movement are most often affected. The symptoms of a stroke can be difficult to recognise, and often they happen during sleep. They can be mistaken for drunkenness and include a feeling of weakness or paralysis on either side of the body, affecting the arm, leg and face. This can make it difficult to swallow and speak. Although there isn't really anything you can do to stop or lessen the effect of a stroke, you need to make the victim comfortable. Loosen their clothing to help their circulation and breathing. The casualty may find the experience confusing and very frightening, so it's important to reassure them. Don't give them anything to eat or drink, as they may have difficulty swallowing, and call their doctor. If they become unconscious, put them in the recovery position, dial 999 and be prepared to do the ABC of resuscitation. Although strokes usually happen without warning, mini-strokes can be a sign that a major stroke will follow. The symptoms are the same in both cases. Although with a minor stroke you may also temporarily lose your sight in one eye. They only last up to 24 hours, but you must consult a doctor. People recover from strokes at different rates, but often major improvements can be seen in the first year. Speech and physiotherapy enable patients to relearn some of the lost skills. One of the most frustrating aspects of the stroke can be the difficulty in speaking, but don't forget, victims haven't lost any of their intelligence. They just need time and your patience to adapt to new ways of communicating and often to a new way of life. So remember, seek medical help after a mini-stroke, recognise the symptoms of paralysis, call a doctor and make the casualty comfortable, dial 999 if they become unconscious, and relearning skills requires time and patience.
If someone is unconscious but breathing,
It is really important to keep the airways open.
and to stop them from choking, you must put them in recovery position.
Make sure they are on their back with both legs straight.
Tilt their head back gently and lift the chin. Tuck the arm nearest to you under their body.
Then bring your other arm across their chest. Then hold the back of their hand against their cheek.
Lift the furthest leg and use it as a lever to roll them gently towards you. Then move this leg over to keep them steady. Make sure that their head is still tilted back so that they can breathe.
Now you've got to dial 999.
One of the most frightening things for any parent is severe illness in a baby or a child. Every year, more than 250 people die from meningitis, mostly children and young adults. Early diagnosis is crucial, but despite growing levels of awareness, many people are still unsure what to look for. The Meningitis Research Foundation and St Mary's Hospital have this advice to help you.
Not everyone will get all the symptoms of meningitis, but it's vital you know how to recognise them. Early warning signs are a high temperature, vomiting and a poor appetite. If your child doesn't develop any other symptoms, they've probably just got flu, but keep a close eye on them. Be extra vigilant if you have a baby. When you pick them up, look out for a floppy or even rigid body. Listen carefully to your baby's cry. If it's shrill or moaning or just different to their normal cry, this probably indicates they're in pain. Feel the fontanel or soft spot on top of your baby's head. If it's hard to the touch or bulges out, this could be a sign of meningitis. Another warning sign is if your baby's skin feels cold and looks blotchy or pale despite a high temperature. Be aware if your baby begins to stare into space or is very drowsy and difficult to wake. They could lose consciousness at any moment. If septicemia has developed, you'll see red pinprick marks, which quickly become larger purple blotches. They look like bruises and won't fade under pressure. Check this by putting a glass or clean jar firmly against the spots. It's easier to diagnose meningitis in older children and adults because they can tell you how they feel. The symptoms they'll complain of may also include a severe headache, a dislike of bright lights, abdominal pains and aching limbs. Always monitor your child closely and trust your instinct. A mother senses better than anyone else if something is wrong. Remember, if you think you recognise the symptoms of meningitis, get your child to a doctor quickly. You could save their life.
Fortunately, most cases of meningitis aren't fatal. Facing death as a family must be one of the most difficult things in the world. But more than 25,000 people are alive today because someone somewhere cared enough to decide that if they or their child died, their organs could be used to save others. The UK Transplant Authority has helped us to put together the facts about becoming a donor.
More than 8 different people can benefit from just one person becoming a donor.
I had a heart and lungs donated to me.
As well as your heart and lungs, you can donate your liver, pancreas and kidneys. But it's not just the well-known organs that can save someone's life. It's now possible to transplant corneas, skin and bone tissue, and even windpipes. If you're over 18, 17 in Scotland, and under 60, you can donate blood. In this country alone, hospitals need 10,000 pints every day. You could also consider offering bone marrow to help leukemia patients.
We've got new kidneys and we think everyone should carry a donor card.
You can be a donor at any age. The current record is a woman of 102 whose corneas saved someone's sight. If you want to make sure your organs help someone after your death, you need to send your details to the NHS Organ Donor Register. There's now even a special section on new driving licences for you to tick if you want to be a donor.
You can give the gift of life to somebody, but you must also tell your relatives and nearest and dearest that that's what you want to do.
It's important to discuss your plans with your family because they'll need to give the final permission for your organs to be used at a difficult time for them.
I had to wait 5 years, just over 5 years for my new kidney.
When an organ becomes available, it's computer matched to the most suitable person on the waiting list, who will be called to hospital for the operation.
I know it sounds awful, but if you're dead, there's no point in not giving your lungs to anybody or your organs in any way, because what good are they to a dead person? You know, it's like helping that person live on in someone else.
So far in this video, we've looked at the safety of your home and things to look out for when you're out and about with your family. But the most dangerous place any of us can ever be is travelling in between, on the road. More than 800 people are injured in car accidents every single day, including the equivalent of 4 whole classes of children. Our next film is slightly different. We've attempted to give you some idea of just how much damage a car will do to children crossing a road, depending on how fast it's travelling. In 1995, nearly half of all children killed were pedestrians. It's because they find it more difficult to judge the speed of oncoming traffic. Most of these accidents happened in built-up areas, but perhaps surprisingly, it's often quiet residential streets with very little traffic that are the most common death traps. Just to illustrate the statistics, at 40 miles an hour, 19 out of 20 children are killed. Just 1 survives. At 30 miles an hour, a child's chance of survival increases to 50%. But that still means half of those hit will die. At 20 miles an hour, the situation is reversed. 19 children survive, 1 dies. That's still 1 too many, but the message is clear. A child's chance of survival improves if we kill our speed.
Motorways are the safest roads in the country, but still over 11,000 people are killed or injured in motorway accidents every year. A third of all these are shunts from behind. Seatbelts reduce injuries in these cases, but every year 500 children are killed or seriously injured because they're not strapped in. This Transport Research Laboratory test shows the full impact of a crash. Watch the child kneeling on the back seat. At 30 miles an hour, he could travel up to 44 feet a second. It's the driver's legal responsibility to make sure all children under 14 are safely strapped in. Never sit them on your lap. An adult who's not wearing a seatbelt keeps moving forward at the same speed as the car was travelling. So at 30 miles an hour, that's the force of about 3.5 tons, or the weight of an elephant. And don't forget to tie down loose luggage. The force of a suitcase hitting you at speed from behind could crush or seriously injure you. It may sound obvious, but keep your eyes on the road. At 70 miles an hour, you travel the equivalent of 8 car lengths a second. Just changing a tape or using a mobile phone, let alone reading a map like this driver, takes valuable seconds. The middle and outside lanes are for overtaking only, but we're all guilty of sometimes ignoring this. Don't join what the police call the centre lane ownership club. This white car refuses to move over and could tempt the lorry behind to undertake. And watch the driver of this car, who cuts in front of an unmarked police vehicle, unaware it's being filmed. The hard shoulder is for emergencies only. The impatient driver of this blue car is using it as an extra lane to avoid a frustrating tailback. It's extremely dangerous, it's against the law, and it didn't get him anywhere. If you have an accident or break down, don't copy this driver's actions. Not only did he block the carriageway, but wandered around picking up the debris as well. In an emergency, move onto the hard shoulder as close to the verge as possible and stay there. Put your hazard lights on and look for an SOS phone. Coast to one if you can. They are every mile with marker posts in between, so look for the arrow giving the direction of the nearest phone. It connects directly to the police motorway control room. If you've got young children with you, or you're a woman alone, tell them and they'll prioritise your call. Remember, the biggest danger on the hard shoulder is from other traffic running into the back of you, so the safest thing is to get out of the car and sit on the verge, well away from speeding vehicles. If it's dark or you're alone, you could sit in the passenger seat, which suggests the driver is nearby, or you could buy a dummy. This one costs under £40 and at a glance could be real. So remember, motorways are the safest roads in the country, but only if you use them properly. Always make sure children are safely strapped in. Stick to the inside lane unless you're overtaking. And only use the hard shoulder in an emergency.
A child seat isn't an accessory to make your child more comfortable. It's a vital piece of safety equipment, the equivalent of a life jacket in a boat. The statistics are frightening. 1 in 5 children aren't restrained at all, and of those that are, half of the car seats aren't correctly fitted and wouldn't protect the children in an accident. Dorset County Council Road Safety Department has helped us put together the following information. We've used age only as a guide, because a small 7-year-old, for example, may be much the same size as a tall 5-year-old. So always go by your child's weight, because that's a much more accurate measurement.
From your baby's first journey until about 9 months old, you should use a rearward-facing seat to support your baby's head. But never use one in the front if there's an airbag on the passenger side. If triggered, the airbag could kill your baby. Children from about 6 months to about 4 years old should always be in a child seat. The safest place is on the passenger side, so you can help them in and out away from the traffic. Check the harness on every journey to allow for growth or simply a change of clothing. You should only be able to slide 2 fingers under the straps. With metal-framed child seats, never allow the buckle of the car seat belt to lie across the metal frame. In an impact, the buckle could shatter. From about 4 to 8 years old, your child may be too big to use a child seat, but is still too small for the adult seatbelt to fit properly. A booster seat will give them the extra height they need and support their head. Until about 11, your child may still be too small for the adult seatbelt. Use a booster cushion to lift them just enough for the belt to lie properly across their shoulder, not their neck, and around their pelvis, not their stomach. When you buy a child seat, it must have the British Standard Kite mark or European Regulations mark. If you have an accident, always replace the seat and the seatbelt. Never buy second-hand or even accept a seat from a friend unless you're absolutely certain of its history. A simple fault like a crack or frayed harness will make it useless in an impact. When fitting a new seat, always follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. Then grab the seat and shake it hard. If it moves, it's too loose. If you can, try your child in the seat and try the seat in your car before you buy it. Remember, keeping your kids safe on the road not only depends on how well the seat fits your child, but also on how well it fits into your car. The most vulnerable road users are, of course, those who aren't in vehicles, not just pedestrians, but cyclists and horse rides too. If you're on a horse or a bike, it's crucial that you know how to use the roads and to be clearly visible to motorists travelling at greater speeds. The British Horse Society has this advice to keep motorists and riders safe.
If you see a horse on the road ahead, slow down. 15 miles an hour is the top speed you should drive past a horse. Sudden noise can scare horses. Turn your car radio down, and if you have a dog in the car, try and keep it quiet. A totally silent approach can be just as dangerous. Cyclists should ring their bells or shout out from a good 25 metres away. Give the horse space. When overtaking, pull out and pass as wide and as slowly as possible between you and the horse. Like motorists, riders also have ways of letting other road users know what they're doing. If a rider is waving their arm up and down, they're asking the motorist to slow down. If they raise their hand with the palm outstretched towards the vehicle, it means please stop. and if the rider holds an arm out to the left or right, they'll be turning in that direction. Riders can take a special road riding test. It involves a theory exam, a simulated road test and a real road test. Like motorists, riders should always ride on the left-hand side of the road and make sure they're easily seen. You should wear luminous clothing during the day. Try to avoid riding at night, but if you have to, make sure you and your horse are wearing reflective clothing. Before going out, make sure your tack is in good condition. For safety, you could wear a body protector and light-coloured non-slip gloves, but most importantly, always wear an approved standard riding helmet, which fits securely. Use the correct size of stirrup for the footwear you're wearing. Make sure your shoes or boots have a heel, or your foot could slip out. Finally, as with any excursion, you should always leave the details of your intended route and the time you expect to be back with a responsible person.
It may seem like an unlikely accident, but for every 2 people who drown in boating accidents, 1 drowns trapped in their car. The following advice from the Automobile Association on how to escape from a sinking car has saved lives.
Plunging into deep, dark water is a frightening experience. But if it happens to you, you need to try and stay as calm as possible and get ready to abandon your vehicle. A car in water won't drop like a lead weight. It'll sink quite slowly, with the heavy engine end first. Cars usually float for a few seconds after hitting the water. Always try to escape then. Free yourself first from your seatbelt and then undo your children's seatbelts. You may find it quite difficult to release a seatbelt underwater. One of our viewers who had a similar accident told us about a special tool, a combination of a hammer and sharp blade, which can be used to cut through seatbelts in an emergency. Wind down your windows before the car sinks. This might seem like the most terrifying thing to do as the water pours in and the car floods, but until the water pressure is the same on the inside as the outside, it'll be very difficult to open the doors. If your car has electric windows, they probably won't work underwater. So although it'll be against all your instincts, you need to open the doors. If you're unable to escape immediately, don't panic. The inside of a family car holds enough air for you to breathe while you prepare to get out safely. It's sensible to try and use as little effort as possible to conserve the air. In an emergency, you can use the same hammer and blade to smash a window. Push the doors wide open and make sure you help any children and older people out first. It's safest to stick together, hold hands to form a human chain and swim to the surface.
It's not all doom and gloom where cars are concerned. They can provide a vital refuge from bad weather. If you're caught out in heavy snow, it's more likely you'll be in your car than anywhere else. In our final information film, RGIT in Aberdeen, who run a survival course for motorists, have helped us put together this advice.
Before you leave, put together your own survival kit from things you'll find around the house. A flask of hot water, waterproof clothing, Wellington boots, a sleeping bag, perhaps even some food and a shovel. All simple items, but any one of them could help save your life. If the worst does happen and your car gets stuck, don't try and go for help unless you can actually see where you're heading for. Every year there are terrible stories of people being found dead just yards from safety. Cars provide protection from the wind, wet and cold, so stay with your car. You'll probably have to do some work outside the car, like making sure the exhaust is clear. Then get back in the car out of the cold and run the engine and heater for 15 minutes out of every hour. Make this a routine that'll help keep you alert. But remember, always keep a window partly open for ventilation, in case exhaust fumes are being pumped inside by the car's heater. If you have to dig snow away from the car, be careful not to overexert yourself. Getting too hot will make you sweat, and this moisture next to the skin will reduce your body temperature. Take some layers off before you start to dig, and put them on again once you're back in the car. 25% of our body heat is lost through the head, so keep it covered. In an emergency, anything will do. It doesn't have to be a hat. And in extreme conditions, use the foam and vinyl from the car's upholstery to wrap around yourself under your clothes. A layer of newspaper inside the windows will improve the car's insulation. And remember that a carrier bag or dustbin liner will help to keep your feet warm and dry. Filled with snow, a bag can also stop the wind getting through a gap in the bodywork or broken windows. And tied to a car aerial, it'll help rescuers find you, even in deep snowdrifts. People have been known to survive in their cars for days by following this advice. But even in the worst conditions, it's very unusual to be stranded for more than 24 hours. So sit tight and wait for help to arrive.
We hope you found the information in this video useful and that you'll watch it again and again. Make it a family event to sit down every few months, see who can remember what, and go back and refresh your memories. And if you haven't already done so, book yourselves onto a first aid course. In as little as 2 hours, you can learn the most vital life-saving skills yourselves. You can find details of the organisations running these courses throughout the UK in just a moment.
So take a good look at your home and your car. Make sure they're as safe as they can be. And when you're away from home, always plan ahead. Find out about the location. Take the right gear. And finally, be prepared to help somebody else, however much or little that you do. Because one day it might be you or your child that needs that help.
Welcome to the 999 Lifesaver video.